so okay, fine. Good afternoon to all the participants and presenters present here on the first day of the ICTiBLANEI-2, and this is the second session, which is Morphology-I, and we are going to begin our session now, and our chair lady is Dr. Bobita Sarangthem, and I'd like to request Dr. Bobita to kindly proceed in chairing the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Manali. Today we have 5 papers for the presentation, and I would like to begin with the paper entitled Post Position in Boro by Alindra-Burman. So may I now request Alindra-Burman to present his presentation. Yes. We have 20 minutes for presentation and 10 minutes for discussions for all the paper presenters. Yes. Alindra, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Bobita. So I start the paper now. The title is Post Positions in Boro. So this is a short introduction about language. As you all of you know, Boro is a Boro language of Tibeto-Burman family, spoken by 14,82,929 according to the Census of India 2011. Most of the speakers are found in Boroland territorial region, consisting of 5 districts: Kokrajhar, Chirang, Baksa, Tamulpur, and Udalguri of the state of Assam in India. It is also spoken in all the other districts of the state and other northeastern states of India, including West Bengal. Several thousand speakers are also found in the southeastern part, that is Japa district of Nepal. It is one of the 22 scheduled languages of India. On the basis of the number of speakers, it is the 26th most spoken language of India. Typologically, it is a head final language and employs postpositions of a wide range of grammatical functions and meanings. The postpositions in Boro function as indicators of question, inclusive, exclusive, exhaustiveness, quantifiers, serialization of action, mood, vector motion, causes, promises, adverbials, progressive aspects, etc. For example, phalai, it's an interrogative particle. Sinthai, in addition, guzum, more than usual, anta, enough, fazine, alongside, khama, doubt, gaza, only, etc. So here is a short introduction about postposition. So the linguistic element occurring after another linguistic element in a language that add any linguistic information to the syntactic construction that occur is called a postposition. A postposition is very usually a short word consisting of 1 or 2 syllables in it that immediately follows a noun, a verb, an adjective, a clause, or a sentence as a whole. A postposition is a separable element, that is, it occurs as a separate word. However, it is always not obligatory to complete the kernel meaning of the phrase or clause where it occurs with. Another linguistic feature of postposition is that they are indeclinable and hence they do not take any inflection. This statement can also be validated by Solnit, denying that elements like sa, on or upper surface in the phrase aranga sayau on the table are postpositions. On the other hand, Dreyer has a couple of reasons to include location nouns or localizers according to Solnit. That is postposition counterpart of prepositions like up, on, under, near, in, etc. So here is a few literature on postposition, which may not be directly related to the topic on language. There is only a little literature on and about the postpositions used in Boro and other Boro group of languages. Solely discusses about postpositions while introducing the term localizers to explain the subclass of nouns expressing much of the semantic territory of English prepositions like on, in, under, above, near, inside, outside, front, back, etc. Dreyer discusses about the occurrences of several postpositions in Tibeto-Burman languages in terms of the word-word parameter in TB languages. According to Longmailai, the localizers are also called related nouns, which are postpositional in form. Related nouns and postpositions have complex morphological construction in Rimasa. Both of them require a case marking unless used as reduplicated nouns. They're related to position in space, direction of movement, location in time, and causation. Anyway, the postpositions she has discussed none other than the localizers of Solnit. She has also discussed about the word order of postpositions in Dimasa. There is a lack of explicitness about postpositions, as a couple of case markers have been discussed under postpositions, while she has also said that postpositions are assigned with case markers. Brahmo discusses about assignment of the genitive case marker in Boro, ni, with dependent nominal while using a postposition hakai, which means for. Again, he also discusses about the use of dubitative mode particle like khama, which means maybe, as a postposition. Postpositions constitute a major group of parts of speech in Boro. However, it has not been introduced in traditional grammars of the language written in different ages, because most of the traditional Boro grammars have been had been written following the outline of the traditional Assamese, Bengali, and Sanskrit grammars, and hence it is very difficult to establish a position of postpositions as a part of linguistic features of the language. Anyway, this study is a very fresh research on the topic, and there is no doubt this study contributes to the documenting of the language. It is always observed that postpositions in most languages are taken for granted when it comes to discussion about them. They are those linguistic elements which are often considered to be linguistic devices that make the use of languages more expressive, effective, and powerful. This study aims at finding out the postpositions used in the Bodo language spoken in Assam and other states of India. Focus is on the formation and functions of the postposition used in the language. This study also aims at finding out whether the postpositions are used as particles or as integral linguistic elements. Because the use of some of these postposition is found to be substitutive with other linguistic features like intonation and punctuations. And the method of collection of the postpositions used in the Bodo language is basically observation in different speech situations. While observing in such situations, the juncture before the postposition was analyzed very carefully so that it can be decided that they are used as separate elements. Again, their respective postpositional values are also observed in different situations. Another method of collecting postpositions in Bodo is manual reading and concordance method of the postposition particle found while observation and reading. While doing concordance method, a huge set of Bodo corpora of generic health and tourism domains prepared by Resource Center for Indian Language Technology Solutions, Phase 2, Assamese and Bodo, in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, in Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati, have been used. So finding this linguistic investigation has come across 17 post-positional particles used in the language, namely Phalai, Sinthai, Gazang, or Khalai, Anta, Phazine, Khma, Nama, Gaza, Thakai, Harse, Kuria, or Betubu, Mani, Gaham, Arama, Nalai, or Nanlai, Baiti, and Legacy, which are discussed here with their grammatical functions and equivalent clauses in English. It is convenient to discuss them under two broad categories. These are postposition particles and integral postpositions, even though they express a wide range of linguistic meanings, because some of them have minor function, whereas the other have major or integral functions. So we start with postposition particle. The postpositions that have minor grammatical or lexical meanings whose absence doesn't affect the kernel meaning of a sentence construction, a syntactic construction, are categorized here as postposition particles. The postposition particles in Boro are Phalai or Pha, Sinthai, Gazan or Khalai, Anta, Nama, Gaza, Kuria, Bete, Mani, Gaham, Arama, and Legacy. So Pha or Phalai is a question particle which follows an interrogative or exclamatory clause. This particle can be used as Pha in short and also as Phalai. When Pha is used, the intonation feature of the clause where it occurs is assigned on it, whereas Phalai is used with lax intonation. For example, Boha Thangna Pha, where are you going, or where do you go? The same meaning can be realized with another, like Boha Thangna Phalai. Now another postposition particle, Sinthai, is an inclusive particle which means also or to. It occurs after a nominal. Usually there is an inclusive suffix b with the same meaning which also occur with nominals. However, Sinthai, there is an additional feature of focus. For example, Bithanga Lama Sinthai Sipadangman. She or he has swept even the road. Next is Gazan and Khalai, both of which mean more than usual. They are quantity particles occurring with numerals or quantifiers. They indicate the excessive number or amount of objects expressed by the quantified nouns by occurring after the quantifiers. Both these particles have the same linguistic value, except that the former is used in the standardized variety of the language, whereas the latter is used in the Sanjari or Eastern regional dialect. For example, Zengnaw Dakhali Sabah Gazang or Sabah Khalai Alasi Pidamman. We had such a number of 5 guests the day before yesterday. Then Anta. It is a quantifier particle which means enough. It follows two infinite verb, and yeah, it should have been two infinite, and at the same time quantifies a nominal. For example, ang ukhi gane anta income zabai. Then Gaza is used after a nominal which indicates exclusive, and it lexically means only and nothing else. For example, Sa Gaza Langsabde. Gaza is a particle which is not necessary to complete the sentence grammatically. It occurs with an adverbial verb suffix sub. However, either of them can substitute the other. Then fuzziness, it is a postpositional particle which expresses a simultaneous action alongside another action. This particle has its root form fuzzy, which often takes the emphatic particle ne. For example, Abira Noao थांनाय बाजिनो जोंनाव हाबलांदोंमोन. We dropped in at our place while he was going home. Then Khama, it's a dubitative mood marker that expresses a kind of epistemic information. For example, Anzada Thapne Zagan Khama. It means the examination might commence shortly. A dubitative mood suffix gun with the same linguistic value is also present in the language, and we can see the use of it in the other example that Anzada Thapne Zagan gun. It also means the same. And then we have Kuria and Bethe, both of them have been originated from the clause Kuria Berthang, means let the boil of sin inflame in my skin. Kuria is a kind of boil of sin. There is a folk belief among the Boros that if someone tells a lie, then a boil of sin inflames in her or his skin. Therefore, this has been a kind of promise that one makes to confirm that he or she has spoken the truth. Thus, the word had become a way of making a promise. Eventually, the word Kuria and Bethe have been grammaticalized. Gaham follows a quantifying numeral to express that the quantity is more than usual or more than enough. For example, Biha Zokhainei Gaham Bibo Binanau Dong. She or he has such a number of 8 siblings. The postposition arama follows an assertive clause to confirm the fact. Thus, it functions like a confirmative particle, which means sure. For example, Bithanga Gaban Faigan arama. She is coming tomorrow for sure. Now, let's go to the integral postpositions. The postposition that have integral grammatical or lexical meanings whose absence affects the kernel meaning of a syntactic construction or integral postpositions. The postposition integral in Bodo are Thakai, Farse, Nalai or Nanlai, and Mani and Baidi. Thakai occurs after a in Bodo, which is equivalent to the preposition English preposition for. It is always preceded by the genitive case marker ni, which occurs with the preceding nominal. For example, Aya angni thakai zebut duku sohainangdengman. My mother suffered a lot for me. Then farse occurs with a nominal. It has the same meaning as the English preposition towards. If the preceding nominal is animate, then it takes the genitive case suffix ni, as in 13. However, if it is a non-animate nominal, then it doesn't take the suffix. For example, Musaya Agni Farse Karbudang. The tiger is running towards me. Biya Kula Farse Agan Sultan. This is moving towards the south. The word Nalai or Nanlai is a discourse marker, which means because, that occurs after a subordinate clause preceding the main clause. Both Nalai and Nanlai are used interchangeably. The only difference between them is parenthesis no is inserted in between the syllables in the letter. For example, Megon Nuan Anlai or Megon Nuan Alai Gufur Gusum Sinaya Beer. Because he or she is blind, she or he doesn't recognize what is white and what is black. Then Baidi is a postposition, which is equivalent to English preposition like. It is used as a simple simile as in it compares another noun with the comparator noun it immediately follows. For
Alindra,
example,
sorry to interrupt, but you have only 3 minutes more. Yeah.
okay. So I will go to the remaining part quickly. So, for example, Angni Onjalini Mohora Bibar Baiti. My love is like a flower. So, the next one is when it indicates a period of a simultaneous temporal moment when something co-occurs with another. It means at the same time during while woli like that. For example, dinai fungsemani okha hadakman. But फोरोंगिरिया फैगौमानि जों गेलेदोंमोन. लोगोसे is used to mean commutative. It means it may be used as a particle or as an integral element, as in 17, 18, and 19. For example, आं नोंजों लोगोसे जिरायगोन. I will sit with you. बियो आंजों लोगोसे बुजागोन. She will be beaten along with me, but बियो आंजों बुजागोन means she will be beaten by me. Now, a short discussion about postpositions compared to preposition and case ending. Postpositions are often discussed in relation with postpositions and case endings without any distinction between them. However, there are positional and lexicogrammatical differences between these three categories of linguistic elements. Postpositions are usually lexically light elements which are most often used as particles to express a wide range of grammatical functions. On the other hand, prepositions are the word governing and usually preceding respective nominals and expressing relation to other words or elements in a phrase or a clause. And case endings are those suffixes added to nominals and very rarely to verbs to express their relations to other words or elements that co-occur in a phrase or a clause. The grammatical functions of prepositions and the case endings are identical in most cases, except the four case endings, which have different thematic roles in the respective clauses they occur. The difference between postpositions in one side and the prepositions and case endings in the other side, it can be said that the former are most usually used as particles, whereas the latter are not. Postpositions are used to express wide range of linguistic meanings that then prepositions and case endings. The presence of postposition in a language make it much expressive too. So based on the different kinds of occurrences of postpositions in Boro, the different structure of postpositional phrases in Boro can be shown like this. Here at the conclusions, postposition is a term point based on its position of occurrence in a secondary linguistic element, such as a phrase, a clause, or a sentence. It is not been established as its opposite term, preposition, and hence there has been always irregular or differentiating definitions of it. However, postpositions as a set of parts of speech in a language can be looked at and defined on different bases. This study looks at its word order, that is the place where it occurs, function, and indeclinable features to validate it as a postposition. The postposition elements discussed here have a great role in making the language expressive, effective, and powerful. There might be another couple of postpositions in the language which are not included and discussed here. However, as a native speaker of the language, my experience and knowledge on and about the language allow me to conclude here that there are 17 postpositions in Boro. One of them is monosyllabic, most of them are disyllabic, whereas several of them are trisyllabic. Again, postpositions discussed here are included in the category of adverbs in the traditional grammar, whereas all of these are not adverbs or adverbials by category. A few of them are also quantifiers such as anta, adjectives, such as adjectives such as gaham and verbs such as better. So these are a few references. Thank you.
Thank you, Alindra, for your very interesting paper. Yes, we have questions from Kellen. Thank you. Thank you, Alindra, for your very good presentation. Yes, it was indeed a very interesting topic too. I would like any of the participants who have any interest to ask any questions or comments are welcome. Now the room is open for discussion. I think I saw Kellen raise his hand. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Yes.
There is a query in the chat box.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you going to read it out?
Yeah, please do that.
I can also see Sagar Baro has written, Sir, Lay and Bra seem like postposition particles, optional, that were not included in the presentation. What would be their grammatical category and function? So yeah, these are actually suffixes. They are suffixed to, the last word of a syntactic construction usually, and these are sociolinguistic suffixes. Lay is used in the speech of male person, whereas bra is also suffixed to male speech, and like that we can see the female counterparts also, like high. High is suffixed to the last word of a phrase or sentence used by female.
Yeah, one more question, Alindra,
Yeah.
basic from Kellen. Yeah. Shall I read it out? Or
Yeah, please.
it says Kellen Parker's microphone appears to have stopped working by, and his question is whether you can determine any compositionality of my monosyllabic morphemes on their polysyllabic postpositions. For example, lie having a specific purpose in compounds in which it is found.
Yeah, actually, this is again a suffix. Lie is a suffix which can mean, different meanings. Like lie may also be a reciprocal suffix used with a verb, and it can also be used with a verb in question. So I know this this suffix is not a postposition, but yeah, it can be suffixed.
Can you hear me? Yeah, there it is.
Yes, please. Yeah.
So in the compounds where you have lie, like maybe 4 or 5 of these had lie in it, is that same lie serving a single function, or is that completely opaque as to what the individual monosyllabic morphemes may have previously been?
Actually, this is a suffix, not postposition.
No,
So
but
it
some
can
of
come
the
compounds.
postpositions you showed had one of the syllables was lie.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
So not lie by itself, but lie as half
Yes,
of one
yes,
of these
yes,
postpositions.
Yeah, actually what happens, this is a particle, the postposition is pa. If we use pa, then we have to, the intonation is high.
Right.
But if we use lie, then no need to use the intonation. We can just, in let's intonation, we can use it. Yeah, that's all. It's a particle.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Is there any other questions from the participants?
Okay, can I come in quickly, Robita?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Alendro, this is Hokit. The paper was very insightful in its form and content. So My question is, are there any overlapping distribution of the so-called what is called post position? So, to be precise, so do these post position occurs only with certain grammatical categories like nouns, verbs, etc., etc., or are there the same post position which overlap? Sometimes it occurs with a noun, at times it may occurs with other categories. And there is one. And the second is not many, few of them, like because, most of these are like adverbials, right? So
Yes.
the adverbial, because, something like causal adverbials.
Yeah.
Because of something like that kind of.
Yeah.
So even adverbials are also treated under post position. So
Yes.
can you make a chart of this, what they call all the post position and the grammatical category to which they are assigned? So if
Yeah.
a table of such nature is given,
Yes. Yes.
then one can easily
Yeah,
decipher
they do have
the distribution, and it becomes
Yes.
very easy for us to detect. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we can do that, sir. Yeah, and the distribution is very clear, but overlapping is also there. But as you have suggested, it would be good in better understanding about their occurrences. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, any other queries? Yes.
I think if there are any more queries, you can keep discussing in the chat box also. You can keep chatting with the presenter. That can also be possible. So
Still, we have 2 more minutes, so we can have 1 or 2 questions if anyone is interested to ask.
Many of the what you call case markers,
Yes.
such as something like man, I've forgotten all of them, man, and kind of those post position which occurs with the subject, and at times it occurs with the object. Of course, under some semantic pragmatic conditions. Do you also treat them as post position, or you label them differently?
Which one, sir?
There are some what you call post position which occurs with a noun.
Yes.
Particularly with the subject, if it is a subject, and some occurs with the object.
Yes, even in Hindi, ne, like Ram ne.
Yeah,
actually
with the object.
Yeah.
I could not open but I did not. I could not find the exact example. So how do you categorize them? Those what you call those particles which occur after the what you call direct object. Sometimes it occurs with the indirect object, but under they are not obligatory, but under certain semantic and pragmatic condition. So do you also treat them as post position in your analysis, or have you not looked into those?
Yeah, actually the basic definition of post position is based on the position where they occur actually. So if it comes after a a word like a noun or verb, then it is called post position, but it can have a case role, like in Hindi, if we use Ram ne, here ne is a post position, but its role is case. Yeah.
Is there any questions who wants to put up? Anyone? If not, then we can move on. Thank you, Alindra.
Thank you so much.
Now we can move on with the next paper. Presenter Biman Dev-Burma and Surat Dev-Burma. They are going to present a paper on case markers in Rangpur. So Biman and Surat, you can start your presentation. Surat, can you hear me? Surat and Biman?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We are just starting.
Yeah, please go ahead. Your time starts now.
Is it visible?
It is visible, but put it in slide mode, slideshow.
Yes. Slideshow.
I think he got disconnected. Right. Oh, he's back.
Diman, if you have the slide with you also, you can present.
Yeah, you can present Biman. You can also do that if there is a network issue.
Anyway, Suraj has joined again.
Or you can send the PPT to Bijan also so that he can share the screen if required. Can you hear us, Surat? Surat, can you hear us? Biman, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, join. Yes, Surat, we can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, madam.
So you can open the PPT first and then share the screen, because when you share the screen, it gets slower when you open it after that.
A bit network issue actually. We get a network problem. Can we see? Is this visible now?
No, not yet.
It's about to open. Yeah.
So yes, it's
Yeah.
visible now. Yeah,
Okay.
it's visible. Yes, your time starts now. Yeah.
Good afternoon to ma'am, chairperson, and to all the participants. Today, my presentation is on case marker. So first of all, I would like to begin with a small introduction of Rankol. Okay, Rankol belongs to the cookie chain subgroup of the Tibeto-Burman family. G. Gerson, 1903 Linguistic Survey of India, Volume 3, Part 3. Rankol belongs to the cookie chain subgroup of the Tibeto-Burman family. According to his survey report, Ranghols are found in Hill Tripura and Kachar. The figure are in Hill Tripura 4,500 and North Kachar 2,400. Ranghol speakers are found in Tripura, Mizoram, Assam, and Manipur. However, the present study will concentrate on the Ranghols of Tripura only. In Tripura, the Ranghol is in Tiramura, Ambassa, and Sipaizola subdivision. The Ranghols live in plain and hilly areas. Agriculture is the main source of livelihood and their profession. The population of the Ranghol tribe cannot be ascertained from the census report of India, as they are not reflected in the same because of its negligible numerical strength. However, the total number of Ranghol speakers in Tripura is estimated about 9,000 according to HNA report that 2015, that is Ranghol National Assembly. Case marker in Ranghol. Case is grammatical characteristic by the syntactic or semantic function of a noun or pronoun. Define case as a case system of marking dependent nouns for the type of relationship they bear to their heads. Case is considered as an inflectional category, basically of noun and pronoun, which typically mark their role in relation to other part of a sentence. Case by pushing the case marker to the pronoun. Undoubtedly, the same case marker are used both for animate and inanimate nouns. Ranghol has eight type of cases listed below. Sorry, it has written as should be 8 actually. This is not 9. There is nominative case, accusative case, generative case, instrumental case, ablative case, locative case, commutative case. Nominative case. The nominative case usually indicate the subject of the sentence. In Ranghol, the nominative case is unmarked, as example given below. Soma, Vara, Amu. So here we can see with the pronoun, the nominative case is unmarked. In the second example, you can see John, that is with the noun John, Motra, Asakta. John ate banana. Kaima bu anekra. That means I will eat rice. Here also you can see clearly that with the pronoun, the nominative case is unmarked. Accusative case. The accusative case defines the object of a verb. So noun or pronoun can be said to be in the accusative case when it is the direct object of the verb. In Ranghol, accusative case is marked by the ra to the direct object of a sentence. Like if I say kaini saradra kanhemta. So here kaini means we, sarat is cow, and the accusative marker is ra. Kan is the first plural marker, hem is beat, and ta is the past tense. So we beat the cow. Okay. For the second example, we see Soma Minjani Vara Atatta. That means he killed the bird yesterday. So here also we can see the accusative marker ra along with the verb. Surah Amanta. Here also we can see along with the thief Ra. That means he caught the thief in market. This case indicates the positive relationship of noun and pronoun. It indicates the possession of a thing or the relationship of a particular object with another object. In Rangkol, the genitive case mark is unmarked. In here, it is unmarked. Now, example, if I say that I am in David's home. So, kay David inna kaam. So, it is again unmarked over here. The second example also, if you see Hima John Gari, that means this is John's car. So here also the genitive mark is unmarked. Instrumental case. The instrumental case indicates object by is in Rangkol. The instrumental case is marked by the suffix le as given below. If I say Soma Tingkung Raile Atanta. So here we can see Tingkung, that is tree. Along with that, Ray is X, Le is the instrumental. That is being used to cut the tree. The second example, we see John Nga Chemle Atanta. That means here John is using a knife to cut the fish. So John cut the fish with a knife. So here the marker is le is coming. Then the third example, we see Ram ka kolom le chithi aswita. That means Ram letter with the help of the pen. He has written a letter. So here also the marker le is clearly being used as instrumental case. Ablative case. The ablative is the case of separation from the source in performing the action by the verb. Here the ablative case is expressed by postposing the marker nata as described below. Soma ka kap kerep nata aculta. That means here he fell down from my window. So nata is being used as ablative case marker. The second example we see kai thingkung nata kalak. That means I am far from the tree. Thingkung is tree. So along with the noun, it is being used attached nata. Then example 3, we see Naipang Thingkung Nata Teira Armul. That means the children pluck the fruit from the tree. Locative. The locative case indicates the location of a person or a thing. It is marked by the marker na and ta. It is interesting to note that when two nasal sounds come in contact of another, one is deleted with the influence of another. This process is called progressive assimilation process. Thus, na is being used as an example a. So if you see the example tokrai tingkung chung aam, that means the parrot is on the tree. And if you see the second example here, kay tingkol na ka am. That means I am near the tree. So here the mark used. Okay, and the third tingkung leimata soma thal. So the marker ta, it occurs with the noun ending with vowel as in example C. So here ta, so they have got na and ta for the locative case marker. Commutative case, it indicates the person or object associated with the subject in the performance of the action. The commutative case in Rangkol is expressed by the same instrumental suffix, that is le. Nah, Songai le, that means with them. So here le. So we can say that this le and the instrumental and this communicative case, they're using the same marker. John le lives with John. So here also le is being used. Kai sentula le Tripurawo kaseta. That means I went to Tripura with sentula. Then through medium pro which action is performed. Then case tidak misalkan genre sum apecta means he gave money John through me. Yeah, gun is being used in intrusive case. Cur crab gun in a alutta. That means a window. Tripakan Mizoram asset. That means he went to Mizoram through Tripura via Tripura. From the above example, we can find that the future of languages. Yes, in language is expressed by post-processing this marker to Raval language are used both in animate and inanimate noun. Case marker in Raval language are unmarked in numeral, number, and gender of noun. Reference. Thank you, Pranav.
Thank you, Surat.
Yes.
We have still time, 5 minutes more, so we can add it for discussion. Yes, the room is open.
Can I come in, Bobita? Bobita? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah. My question is to Surat.
Yes, sir.
Surat, I was somewhat intrigued to find out that there's no what you call so-called nominative case there. So the nominative case must be present there. In your example, there was something that was intriguing because my analysis of rank hall from Hablong shows the presence of what you call nominative and what I call archetype. And your your division of since the marker is not there, so I don't want to make the other assumption. Your division of what you call case into nominative and accusative. You say nominative is the case which occurs with the subject, and the what you call the accusative that occurs with the direct object. So this division of case marking is not consistent. So it should be based on transitivity. So if the subject of an intransitive verb, we look at whether the subject of the intransitive verbs and the object behave in one way, and the subject of the transitive verb behave otherwise. So if they behave otherwise, then it is a case of archetype observative languages. Otherwise, some other factors, you may call it nominative or whatever. So I was wondering why nominative case is missing there. Maybe it is under the influence of Bengali that they might have lost it. This is the assumption. But my data, I was checking through my data and I found the presence of archetype case. There was the point that I wanted, limited point that I want to make.
Yeah, what you said, it is truly, it is true. But Rankhols of Assam and the Rankhols in Tripura, their language is quite different to each other, sir. They are not able to understand. They share the same community name as as a Rangkol, but when they speak to each other, they are not able to understand. So that's
But,
what.
yeah,
Maybe.
I was also told the same thing by the
Yes, sir.
informant.
Yes, sir.
There.
Yes, sir.
The
So
speech varieties are quite different. But check out whether
yes, yes, sir.
you can put in there with the subject. So if ask the native speaker, can I put in there? If in is post, can you put the in marker after the subject, and
Yes,
ask
sir.
them whether it is optional or obligatory kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay, in the chat box, Surat, you have one more questions that you check it. Here it says that KB, I don't know. Yes, he had a query that in his research work of Rangkol in Assam, he found genitive case in case of predictive construction. Example, he, we, he, kita, ani, this dog is mine. So here, ta is genitive marker. So is it there in Tripura Rangkol is the question. Yeah.
No, ma'am. Even just last, regarding genetic marker only, I had a talk with some other informant, and I have asked them, but I marker.
Can you repeat? Your voice is breaking in between. Yes. Last
Okay.
one.
Yes, the genetic marker is also unmarked, ma'am.
Okay.
And last yesterday evening itself, I had a conversation regarding some sentence. Can you tell me that this is John's and how will you say? John's something like that. I don't find any genetic marker there.
So you don't
Am
have.
I available, ma'am?
Here the query is about the ta as genitive marker, like kita, ani. So this dog is mine in that face you see. So you don't have genitive marker as such. That is what you're answering.
No. Yeah, maybe the Rangkol speakers in us. But
yes,
I think he's gone.
yeah.
Yeah. Actually, genitive case is unmarked in Rangkol, even in Assam, but then it's unmarked as a, when it occurs with a modifier as a modifier, but it is marked when it occurs with the head as a fused head. So maybe they have to look at what happens when it is a fused head, like when we say a book of John's instead of John's library. So maybe they may have to look at that also in terms of pronunciation.
Yeah. And another observation, I do not know whether Surat can answer this or the other one, Biman. One more observation is there. Ma in Kaima and or Soma, etc. might be nominative and ergative by a one. Yes, Surat, can you answer this? Or Biman, if you are present here? I think Ma is not the nominative norm.
yes, can you repeat the same question, ma'am? I don't hear it. Anyone pronounce here, ma'am?
Yes, Surat, I can't hear you.
Ma'am.
Okay, is there any other questions? Any observations to be shared with?
I have a very simple question to him. I don't know whether he will be. In your slide number 7, you mentioned lay. as the with John and with John or with something lay is marked. So with John, if John lay is with John, then how do you say I and John? How would you say I and John?
John. Yes, Le John.
Sorry, your voice is broken.
Okay. I and John. It would be Kaima Le John.
Kaima le John.
Yes, Kaima Le John.
Okay. If that means it is you as join, that means nang male John, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So that means there is also, it also means and it also means with.
Yes. Both.
Okay.
Yes, I'm actually I'm not able to hear properly. Hello. Is my voice is clear?
Yes. Now it's clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Is my voice
Any other,
clear?
any other questions in this? So, Surab, you take into account what Bauthang sir has said. Please keep in mind, as well as
Yes, ma'am.
yes, and any other comments which have been given by the participant, please note it. Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
ma'am.
One second.
Thank
Regarding
Yes, sir.
regarding the
With this-
occurrence occurrence of the genetic marker, it is the case with many Kukichi languages that
Yes.
when the object that is processed is not specified, something like kata, when it is not specified, then you get the genetic marker. Otherwise, it will be juxtaposition. When the process now is present, then it should be juxtaposition of the processor with the process through juxtaposition. So that's the point that I wanted to make.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I think with this we can move on with the third presenter. Yes, is this one, Sobina and Krisangi. Are you here? Sobina, Yashmin, and Krisangi, are you here? Can you hear me, Sobina?
Yes, ma'am, we are here.
Yes. Yeah. So please, you prepare for the presentation. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Veena, should I share your slide from my end or you are going to share from your end?
No, I think I can. Let me try once. I guess. Is it visible? I guess it is.
Yes.
So Sobina's paper is on reduplication in the missing language morphological study. Yes, Sobina, please start your presentation here.
Just Yeah, ma'am, is it visible?
It's going to, yeah, it's visible. Yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sobina, a master's second year student from Jawaharlal Nehru University, along with my co-presenter Kislangi Gogoi from Tesco University and Sumki Payun from EFL University. Although Kislangi will not present today, but she has contributed in the paper with us. So we are going to present today on the topic reduplication in the missing language, a morphological study. It's a short paper that we have tried to study. Kislangi, be a native speaker of missing, she has provided us the data that is required us by going doing a survey in her village along with her family member, talking to her family members and all. So by that, we have collected the data for this paper. So the aim of this paper is to start
Sobina, I can't hear you. Yes. Sobina, can you hear me? Sobina? I think it's out of this one. Yes, Sobina, are you there? Yes, yes. Sobina and Krishangi?
I think we disconnected.
Yeah, got disconnected.
So currently they are in Assam. So network issue, connectivity in Assam is not good in that part of where they are staying.
Let me try to see.
I think the co-authors are also here. Are you together in the same place?
I can share from my end if the co-author is here.
Yeah.
Is it visible?
Payun is also here, and Chumki Payun, would you like to present on behalf of your group? Chumki, can you hear us? Chumki, can you hear us? Can you ask? No, you're not audible, Chumki. We're not able to hear you. I know you can hear us, but we can't hear you.
Ask her to check through the chat to unmute her microphone. Perhaps she might have muted her microphone.
Yeah, please unmute yourself, Chumki, because we cannot make it out from here, even if it looks unmute. Okay, Sobina is back. Sobina, do you want to?
Sorry, ma'am, I lost my connection. The Wi-Fi went off, like current. That's why.
Okay, so you can start from the beginning.
First, yeah, sure. Who is present?
Vivian is sharing the screen for you. You can proceed.
Yeah. Sir, if you come to the first slide, like I will start from the beginning. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sobina from Jawaharlal Nehru University, a master's second year student, and I am presenting a paper titled Reduplication in the Missing Language, a Morphological Study, with my co-presenters Kislangi Gogoi from Tesco University and Sumki Payun from EFL University, Shillong. So this is a small paper that we have tried to study the traditional reduplication method in work formation process in the missing language where Sumki, being a native speaker of the language, she had went for a survey in her village, in a missing village, and tried to collect the data along with her family members. By speaking to their family members, we have collected the data to know how the process of reduplication works in work formation in this particular language. So next slide, please. Yeah, firstly, I would like to say what is reduplication. Reduplication is basically a morphological process through which new words are formed. It is a very common and a frequently observed process in the language of the South Asia and the Southeast Asia. According to the field linguist Anita Abbi, in her book in 1994, she says that reduplication stands for repetitions of all or a part of a lexical item carrying a semantic meaning. Here we take the actual word as a base, and then we reduplicate it by making some alteration in the word, or sometimes we take the exact word and just reduplicate it. So reduplication, either the entire word or some part of the word is repeated, along with making sense to the main lexical item so that it brings a new semantic meanings. Reduplication is often confused with repetitions, since it is almost similar to repetition, because in repetition we just repeat the word. Similarly, in reduplication also, although we repeat the word, but we repeat it to get a semantic meaning. And linguistics like Losberg in 1998 in his book said that since both the reduplications and repetition have informatic and reinforcing forces, they can be used interchangeably. But however, from a precise observation, if we see, we cannot say that all the reduplications are repetitions. Along with formation of a new lexical item, one of the other purposes that it serves is to reinforce or emphasize upon the word. So in this paper, we are going to look the process of reduplications that occur in this missing language. So missing the language of both the hills and plain. I have quoted it in search because it is spoken in both the plains of Assam and the hills of Arunachal Pradesh. It is called as Miri in Arunachal Pradesh. Even the community is recognized as Miri by the constitutions of India. And it is a part of Tani language of the Tibeto-Burman linguistics family. According to the census of 2011, there are 6,29,954 native speakers of this language inhabiting in the district like Majuli, Lakhimpur, Dhemaji, Tinsukia, Sibsagar, Jorhat of Assam, and the districts like East Siang, Dibang Valley, and Lohit of Arunachal Pradesh. In this language, we can see reduplication playing a very crucial role in word formation process, and we can see it like in almost all the lexical category. This process has been there to form a new word.
Yes, I think she lost her connection again.
Yeah, there are like two types of reduplications. That is, one is the total or complete reduplication. The other is the partial reduplication. In total or the complete reduplications, the exact word is being repeated, and in the partial reduplication, slight alteration is made in the phonology of the word, and it is made in such a word certain morphology are being like infixed, suffix or prefix, so that it brings a new semantic meaning. So I would like to say like in details about the total reduplication and partial reduplication that is being observed in the missing language. So next slide. Yeah. In this total reduplication, it involves exact repetition of the word or the sound. It is a most commonly found reduplication process in missing language. It is mostly used for emphasizing and to bring out a new semantic meaning. And for example, we can take the word like dula. If the single word dula is there, it means to sit. But if it is being reduplicated, with another words like dula dula, then it means the act of sitting. For example, we can say dula dula nerdobo. It means getting bored by sitting. Again, similarly, the word kedla, which means just to lie. But if we reduplicate it, if we completely reduplicate it, like kedla kedla, it means while lying. For example, ba kedla kedla paridang. It means he is studying while laying down. Here, the word, although it's mean a single kedla or dula, it means something else. But if we completely reduplicate it, it gives us a new semantic meanings like the act of sitting or the act of lying down. Reduplication is like total reduplication is very prominent in onomatopoeic word. It is onomatopoeic words are reduplication is almost a very popular form of representation of onomatopoeic word, not only in this language particularly, but almost all the South Asian and the Indic languages. In this language also, we can see like the purring of cat. It's like moo. We have like taken exactly what the cats like pure, like moo, and we have totally reduplicate it with moo, and we have formed an onomatopoeic word of it by this process. For example, Menkari de mumu amadung. It means the cat is purring. Similarly, the sound of a cuckoo bird. The sound is coo, and we have totally reduplicate it with cuckoo, and we have like brought that word into the language of missing, and we have formed a new word that is cuckoo to represent the sound of cuckoo bird. For example, the Shoyo peta do kuko amadong. It means the cocoa bird is singing. So next slide. Another form of reduplication is partial reduplication. In partial reduplication, certain alteration is caused in the lexical item. Changes can be seen in a little sound either in the initial position or in the middle or in the final position. For here, substitution, deletion, or insertion of either consonant, vowel, or syllable is done to the base element. If the reduplication is done in the initial position, we prefix it, or it is done in the medial position, we infix it, and if it is done in the final position, we suffix it. Although it is hardly seen in this language through our limited study that inflection is words are formed by inflection. We have seen only by prefixion and by suffixion, and obviously through substitution, deletion, and insertion. Like for example, this word Madir Misong. Madir, it means sad. We have taken the morpheme from the base Madir, and we have added another suffix, another morpheme lesson to get a new semantic meaning, that is depressed. If we take it in a sentence, it will be like no madir masangdang. It means I am depressed. Similarly, malo color, it means yesterday, and color, we have taken that lo from the base malo, and then we have added a new prefix to it, that is called. It's like malo color. It's which give us a new semantic meanings, that is yesterday or a day before yesterday. For example, in the sentence like no malo color deka, it means I went yesterday. So by this partial reduplication, we have seen like a new word is formed by following different morphological process. Next slide. And one of the another form of partial another form where we can see the partial reduplication is in echo words. Echo words is a very widespread aerial feature of South Asian language. Not only in missing, but almost all the South Asian languages have echo words. Like, for example, if we take the Hindi words like saitai, it is an echo word where it is mostly used to express an expression, and it is used in mostly in colloquial senses. In missing also, we have evidences of echo word where certain changes are made to the base element, or it is done also by total reduplication. Here are the two examples we have taken, that is tona tona. if the word tona is there, it means to wait. But if we make it an echo word that is tona tona, it's meant to wait for a long time. For example, in a sentence like tona tona nedobo, which means getting bored by waiting. Or if we take the word yubna, yubna means to sleep. But if we made an echo words like yubna yubna, then it's mean while sleeping. If we take it in an example, it's like yubna yubna agam luladang. It means he's talking while sleeping. So these are the two basic classifications of reduplication that we have seen in the language. Further, we have also tried to see how reduplication works in the lexical category and how rich it is as a morphological process for this particular language. And we have surprisingly found that almost all the lexical category form words by reduplication. Here my co-presenters, Sumki will present hereafter. Thank you. Over to you, Sumki.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Chumki and I will be discussing about reduplication in various lexical categories. The first lexical category is verbal reduplication. So in verbal reduplication, it is the reduplicating a word class, which is a verb. And here we see verbal reduplication in finite verb. And the example that we have given is gerie gerie, which means will do. Another verbally reduplicated word like guye guye, which means we will go, or kaye kaye means which we will see. Here the word gerie gerie is reduplicated only in spoken language and not in the written language, because here the speaker assures the hearer about a certain work that he or she will do for sure, and he doesn't need to be repeated twice. Sir, can I move to the next slide? Here we can see verbal reduplication in non-finite verb. Dula dula, which means sitting or the act of sitting. And dula dula means the act of sitting. Here the example is dula dula ngerduvo, which means getting bored by sitting. The difference between the verbal reduplication in finite and non-finite verb is that finite verb is reduplicate only in spoken context, if and only if the speaker has to assure the hearer about a certain work that he will do and doesn't need to be reminded again and again. It shows excessive expressivism to do, and but in case of non-finite verb, it is used in spoken context as well as in the written form, and it forms a completely different word after reduplicating it. Then I would like to move to the next one, nominal reduplication. In nominal reduplication, we can see where a noun class is reduplicated. Here the example that we have given is iki iki, which means among the dogs. And the sentence that we have formed is iki iki do pamun sudung, which means the dogs are fighting among themselves. Here the word iki is reduplicated as a whole. Another examples of nominal reduplication are tani tani, kowa kowa, which means among the men and among the boys respectively. Then thirdly, we can see about pronominal reduplication. It means the reduplicating the pronouns. The example here is bibi ngongo, which means you or you and I, and the sentence that we have formed is bibi ngongo amna duyo, which means stop differentiating between you and me. And here the initial part of the word is reduplicated, and here the whole part is reduplicated. And another example for pronominal reduplication is seko sekom, and in the word seko sekom, the initial part of the word is reduplicated and it means to whom. In both the examples, bibi ngongo and seko sekom, it shows distributory plurality and exclusiveness. The fourth is reduplicated interjections. Here we have Yowa Yowa, which means "Oh God." And the sentence that we have formed is Yowa Yowa Menkaride Ongosam Dopakto, which means "Oh God, the cat ate the fish." And next is reduplicated idioms. Here we have Ari Arabo, which means inside the stomach. Ramnam the Ari Arabodung, which means the fever is inside the stomach. And here only the initial syllable is reduplicated. The next slide tells us about reduplicated numerical. Reduplication can be seen in the numerical system of the missing language. And the example given here is Ako Ako, which means one each. And the example that we have given is Kokang Kurida Ako Ako Mortanam Doka, which means the children ate one candy each. Similarly, we have Anni Anniko, which means two each, Aum Aumko, which means three each. Also, we have reduplicated numericals that are only partially reduplicated, like Kunit Pinit, which means 7 and 8, or Kini Pini, which also means 7 and 8 as well. Then we have baby talks. The first words that we speak after birth is reduplicatives, and around the world babies refer to their parents as baba or mama, and there are infinite such words which sounds childish or silly but plays a huge role in describing a word. The example that we have given here is boom boom, which means a child is describing about a car by producing the sound of the car. Another example of baby talk is mum mum for food, cock cock for a hen, etc. Then reduplication can be therefore seen in almost all lexical categories of the missing language. So in conclusion, we would like to say that the attempt to
Sumki, you have muted yourself.
being prevalent in almost all lexical categories, it is found that these words act as both independent lexicon as well as complementary to the base word to bring out an expression. Like any other South Asian language, reduplication is very common in onomatopoeic and echo words. And we can see that prefixation and suffixation takes place extensively in the process of reduplication in a missing language, whereas inflection is very randomly seen. And as of now, we have concluded this from our limited study. However, it is not the absolute result, and furthermore research into the field is required. And then in the next slide, we have given some of the references while doing the study. And with this, we would like to wind up. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chungki and Sobina, for your very interesting topic on reduplication. Yeah, now the floor is open for discussions. So any questions or comments are welcome. Is there any additional questions? Let's see. Yes, we got one from Sagar Boro. Are there instances of morphological reduplication or expressives that are not onomatopoeic in nature, like expressive for visual pattern, texture, or feelings and states of mind, etc.? So, Sobina or Chunki, can you answer to this question?
Yes, ma'am. There are such words to express visual pattern, texture, or feeling, or any state of mind. Like we have kankan, kankan, kankan. So if we say kankan, kankan, it means beautiful or very beautiful. So we have also another such words that expresses state of mind or visual patterns, etc.
Is there any other queries?
Yeah, I would like to
Yes.
come in. So the question is to Chumki. Before I ask the question, I would like to know whether the verb dula is a root or la is a suffix to it. So dula is the word for seat.
Yes, sir. And la is the suffix.
Okay. So this is basically a monosyllabic verb.
Yes, sir.
So then I thought actually this is disyllabic verb. So can you also keep at least one example of bisyllabic verb which is reduplicated? Is there any instance from your study with data?
Sir, disyllabic word.
A disyllabic verb which
Verb.
also which is also reduplicated sometimes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
If we say pakto pakto, it
Yeah.
means to play very cheerfully or joyfully.
So pakto is the word for play.
Yes,
As a
sir.
whole?
Yes, sir. As a whole.
Okay. So where does the suffix la mean here? What does it mean in dula?
Sir, in dula, la means it means something like to do it for a very long time.
Okay.
Someone is doing something from a very long time.
Okay. Can it be? Can it also occur with the other verb for the play? The word play.
Yes, sir.
Like
Paktola.
paktola.
Yes.
With the same meaning. You give one example. No?
Yes, sir.
Pakto pakto is.
Pakto pakto is to play cheerfully.
And the paktola paktola.
They are playing cheerfully from a very long time.
Okay. That I wanted to know actually what happens in reduplication of verb. Sometimes it is very much related to the syllabic structure also. If it is monosyllabic, it cannot be directly, without any suffix, it cannot be reduplicated. So can we reduplicate the verb do as do like that? Is it possible without la?
I don't think so, sir.
Or any other monosyllabic verb that can be reduplicated without taking any suffix? Is it possible?
No, sir.
Yeah. So that's the point actually. If the verb is monosyllabic, usually it cannot be reduplicated. But in
Yes.
some rare cases it can be, but usually it is not reduplicated if it is monosyllabic. That was my point actually.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Yes.
There's a question in the chat.
Yeah, please go ahead. Let's see. I couldn't see in the chat box. Can you just unmute and say it? Yeah.
This is Sagar Baro's question, but I am also curious, so I'll go ahead and read it if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
The question is, are there instances of morphological reduplication or expressives that are not onomatopoeic in nature, like expressives for visual patterns, textures, feelings, states of mind, etc.?
I think she has answered that questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. Apologies.
Yeah.
Yeah, may I ask a question, Bhavita?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, thank you. That's a nice set of data that you have there. I just was wondering with some of your reduplicated words, like medir, mesong for depressed, and
Yes, sir.
Ari Arabo. So there, I think the reduplicated form is that the prefix, the me or the a that you have in these forms? How do you know that's a reduplicated form, Medir Mesong, for instance, or Ari Arabo, where you have just the reduplicated element is.
Sir, in Murder Masong, when we say only ma, it means to think or to be depressed. So murder together, it means sad or very depressed. And in the word Ari Arabo, it means
Song means something there.
Sir, you are not audible.
Okay, I don't know whether it's my connection or.
Sir, yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, and so my question was just is that whether the A in Ari Aribo, Arabo, and Medir Mesong are these prefixes? I mean, is it possible that they are also compound words, not reduplicated forms?
That I'm not sure, sir.
So we will say on it. For us, we thought that it is reduplication because mere we thought it as a like prefix. That's why we thought. So we will go like do a detailed research on it later.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
And your co-presenter. No, it's not a question. To my, I don't know, uninformed mind, some of these what you call reduplicated items that you call aqua, they sound like Hasi reduplicated form also. So is there any connection between missing and Hasi? Have you looked into that aspect as well?
No, sir. As of now, we have not looked into that.
Okay. I have one query, like when you put up echo words, instead of showing the data as a partial reduplication, I could notice it as a complete reduplication. So is it, say for echo words, any echo words in Chumke? Can you supplement with that, Chumke?
Yes, ma'am. We have also other echo words like alak salak, which means alak means hand, and salak is the just echo formation of that word.
But in the data, it was something I could see that it's a complete reduplication. So you better check in the future that data which you have shown in the slide. Echo words, you see tona, isn't it? And the other one also, jubna. This is not person, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. We'll look into it, ma'am.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, any other questions from the participants? If not, then we can move on with the numeral system in Lotha by Ria Singh. Ria?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please be ready for that. And thank you so much, Sobina and Chumki, for your wonderful presentations. Now,
thank you, ma'am.
Ria, yeah.
Is my slides visible?
Yes, very much, yes.
Can I start now?
Yeah, please go ahead now. Time starts now.
Okay, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I am Ria Singh. Good afternoon, first of all, and I'm from Central Institute of Hindi, Agra, and my posting place is in Dimapur, Nagaland. And today I'm going to present my work on numeral system in Lotha.
So, Lotha, first of all, what is Lotha? Lotha is one of the indigenous language of Nagaland and which is spoken by the Lotha tribe here. Lotha language basically belongs to Tibeto-Burman language family, and according to the Census 2011 by the government of India, there are around 1,80,000 speakers of Lotha. It is majorly spoken in Wokha district of Nagaland. So this is the map of Nagaland. Here the area which is highlighted with the red ink is the area belongs to which is known as Wokha district, and most of the or majorly this language Lotha is spoken in this area. Wokha district basically share its boundaries with the Mokokchung from the north, Kohima from the south, Jinneboto from the east, and Assam from the west side. So the aim of my study is to explore the numeral system in Lotha and to bifurcate the numerals of Lotha, and later on to discuss the pattern of different types of numerals in Lotha. The numeral system in Lotha is like many other Tibeto-Burman languages such as Zeme, Upyo, Hamar, and many more. Lotha is also experiencing this feature of numeral system. If we take the example first here, that is Furo Matsunga. Furo is means dog. It belongs to noun category, which is followed by the numeral value, that is Matsunga, which means 1. So from this example, we can derive the pattern that in Lotha, noun is always followed by the numeral value. Even Lotha also has the decimal type numeral system. They can use the compounding process to form higher numeral values. For this, we have the example number 2, that is Taro Ini. Taro means 10 and Ini means 2. So when we combine these two words together, Taro and Ini, they give us the new numeral value, which is 12. Taro Ini means 12. So there are 7 types of numerals in Lotha. First one is the cardinal numeral, second is the ordinal numeral, third one is the fractional numeral, fourth is the multiplicative numeral, fifth is the approximative, sixth one is the distributive, and seventh is the restrictive numeral. The first one is the cardinal numeral. So we can divide the cardinal numeral into 2 parts in Lotha language. The first is the basic cardinal numerals, and the second one is the compound cardinal numerals. The basic cardinal numerals in Lotha, there are around only 12 basic cardinal numerals, that is from 1 to 10, 20, and 50. And these are monomorphemic as well as they have the separate lexical items. These are the example of that. So the value for 1, Lotha has Ikha, for 2 Ini, 3 Ithum, 4 Mizo, 5 Mongo, 6 Tirok, 7 Tiang, 8 Tiza, 9 Toku, 10 Taro, 20 Miku, 50 Tian. These are the basic cardinal numerals in Lotha. Next is the compound cardinal numerals. So in compound cardinal numerals, these numerals are bi or multisyllabic. They are very large in number in this language. They have the bi and multi-lexical items, and they uses the compounding process to create higher numeral values. So on the basis of the pattern of the numerals, we just divide them into 3 parts. So first one is the additive, second is the multiplicative, third one is the multiplicative cum additive. First one is the additive one. In this, the basic cardinal number, that is from 1 to 9 added to the root number, that is either 10, 20 or 50. In Lotha, these are only 27 in numbers, that is from 11 to 19, 21 to 29, and 51 to 59. So the pattern which we get from these types of numeral is A plus B, which gives us AB. So the value of the A here is always either 10, 20 or 50. And the value for B is always a basic cardinal numeral, that is from 1 to 9. So these are the examples. A is either 10, 20 or 50, and B could be any number from 1 to 9. So first example is 11, that is 10 plus 1. 10 is Taro and 1 is Ikha. So Taro Ikha is 11. 20 plus 3 is 23, that is Miku Ithum. And 52 is like 50 plus 2, 50 is Tian, and 2 is Ini, so 52. The next one is the multiplicative compound numeral. In this, the two numerals multiplied with each other and form a new higher numeral value. These are also larger in number in Lotha. and the pattern is A into B. So it gives us AB. On the basis of the numeral value, the numerals are further subdivided into three parts. One is the basic multiplicative, second is the decade multiplicative, and third one is the 100, 1000 or lakh multiplicative. First one is the basic multiplicative. In this, the pattern is same as the multiplicative compound numeral, that is A into B, which gives us AB. But the value of these numeral A or B varies from other types of multiplicative compounds. Here, the value of A is always either 3, 4 or 6. And the value for B is always 10, which is denoted by the suffix that is rho. So they have just three numbers which belongs to this category, that is 30, 40 and 60. These are the examples. Here A is always either 3, 4 and 6. B is always 10. So we have 3 into 10, 30. So thum is which stands for 3 and rho, which is used as a suffix for 10 is placed here. So thum rho is 30. Similarly, 4 into 10, 4 is zu and 10 is ro, zuro, and 6 is rok, and 10 for 10 they have ro. So rokro. Rokro is 60. The next one is the decade multiplicative. In this also the pattern, the basic pattern is same, A into B, which gives us AB. But again the value is changed. The value for A is always 10 because 10, and it is denoted with the by ikha lexical item. And the second is the B, which is always either 7, 8 and 9. So in Lotha, there are only three numbers which belongs to this category, that is 70, 80 and 90. These are the examples. A is always 10 and which is represented with the word that is ikha, and B is either 7, 8 or 9. So these are the three numbers. 10 into 7, that is 70, ikha plus tiang. For 80, 10 into 8, so ikha into tiza, so it's ikha tiza. And the last one is 10 into 9, so ikha into toku. So ikha toku is 90. The last one of this category is 100 or 1000 or lakh multiplicative. In this also the basic pattern is same, A into B, which gives us AB, but the value of A is either 100, which is denoted by nizo, either or 1000, which is denoted by otang, or third one which is that is 1 lakh, or which is denoted by the word kana. And the value for B is always a cardinal So these are the examples. If the value for A is either 100 or 1000 or lakh. So in that, the B could be any number. So we just multiplied it. 100 into 2, 200 is it. It gives a word like nizo ini. Nizo is 100 and ini is 2. The second example, 1000 into 3, that is 3000. In this, otang is 1000 and ithum is 3. So 3000. And the last one is lakh. For lakh, they have kana, and 5 is mongo. So kana mongo, it means 5 lakh. The third part of compounding numerals here is the multiplicative cum adductive one. In this, the two mathematical processes are processed. First of all, they have the three numeral values. Firstly, they multiplied the two values with each other, and their outcome is added to the third numeral value. In Lotha, these numerals are many in number. On the basis of their structure, these are divided into two parts, because there are some numerals which uses the conjunction, but there are few numerals which do not use the conjunction. So these are we just divide them into two parts. So first one is the without conjunction numerals. So in the pattern is A into B, which and then we add the third numeral to the output of the first two numerals. So the value of A is always either 3, 4 and 6. And the value for B is always 10, which is denoted by rho. Rho is a suffix here. Then we add the value for the third numeral, that is a basic numeral, that is either from 1 to 9. So these are also 27 in numbers in Lotha, that is from 31 to 39, 41 to 49 and 61 to 69. But the second part in which we are using the conjunction, in that the pattern is is a bit change. Here they have the pattern like A into B plus conjunction plus C. So here they first of all multiply A and B together, and after that they add the conjunction which is C, which means and then they add the third numeral value there. The pattern is always used with the numeral value which is either equals to or greater than the value of 71, and that numeral should not be the multiple of 10, 100, 1000 or 1 lakh. So in Lotha, there are numbers like 71 to 79, 81 to 89, 91 to 99, 101 to 109, and so on. So there are a lot of numbers in this category. So first three examples are the one without conjunction, that is 31, 42, and 64. 31, they have the 3. For 3, they have thum, and for 10, they have row, and they add 1 into that. So 30 plus 1 is 31. For 1, they have ikha. So thumro ikha is 31. The second one is 4 into 10, 40 plus 2, 42. Similarly, here it's zu plus row, and then zero plus ini. So zero ini, it's 42. And for 64, it's 6 into 10, that is 60 plus 4, 64. In that, they have rok, ro, mizu. But for in the case where they are using the conjunction, that is 75 and 106, they are having a bit different pattern. For 10, they have, first of all, they have a value of A is equals to either 10 or 100 or 1000, and then they multiply with the other number. So 10 into 7, 70, and 5. They used to say it's at ikha tinyang si motsunga. C is and 106, for 106 they are using nazoa si tirok. Nazoa is 100, C and tirok is 6. So 106. The next one is the ordinal numbers. In Lotha, the ordinal numbers are performed by suffixing O to the cardinal numerals. So the pattern is A plus suffix. Here A is always a basic cardinal numeral, either from that is from the 1 to 9, and O is used as a suffix. These are the examples. So first they have the obyang O, for second inio, third is ithmo, and fourth is mizuo, and like this they have more examples of this. There are. So the third one is the fractional numeral. In Lotha, fractional numerals have very unique patterns. So they are also greater in number as compared to some other Tibeto-Burman languages like Zeme. The pattern for the fractional numeral would be like CL plus den plus suffix, again CL and num. So here the CL stands for classifier, which is ichi always. We are not replacing any we are not using any other classifier for fractions in Lotha. We always use ichi. Then den stands for denominator. Suff stands for suffix, which is always low. And then again then again classifier, which is ichi, and then the num. Num means numerator. There is one exception in the fraction, that is for half. They are not using this pattern for the word half. They are using chisho for the word half. Instead of this, except this example, they are using this pattern for forming fractional numerals. Like if we take the second example here, that is for quarter, that is which means 1/4. So 1/4, they are using first of all the classifier, which is ichi here. Then the denominator, which is mizo, it means 4. Lo is a suffix, and again ichi is a classifier, and then is for 1. So 1/4 is ichi, mizulo, ichia. Right. The third one is the 3/4. For 3/4, they again uses ichi, mizulo, ichi, ithum. So ichi is classifier, mithlo is 4 and suffix, ichi is classifier, and ithum is 3. So 3/4. So I will proceed with the next type of numeral here. That is a multiplicative numeral. In this Lotha, this type of numeral are formed by prefixing yanjo to the cardinal numbers. The pattern for this type of numeral is prefix plus b. So here yanjo is used as a prefix, which means times, and b is you always use a cardinal number. So the example is here. For ones, they have yanjoa. Yanjo means time, one time, or they are using once for once. The second one is the Yanjo Mizo. Yanjo is time in 4 times. Next is Yanjo Taro. Yanjo time, again Taro is 10, so 10 times. And Yanjo Nazoa. Nazoa is 100 times. So Yanjo Nazoa is 100 times. The next one is the fifth, that is approximative numeral. In Lotha, approximative numerals are formed by suffixing Harma to the cardinal numbers. The pattern is A plus suffix. So A suffix. Here Harma is used as a suffix, which means about, and A is always a cardinal number. So for about 1, they are using Matsunga Harma. For about 2, Mongo Harma. Mongo is 5 and Harma is a suffix here. About 10, Taro Harma. And for about 100, Nazo Harma. The next one is the distributive numeral. In Lotha, distributive numerals are formed in 2 different ways. One is the reduplicating. By reduplicating the basic cardinal number along with the classifier, that is twa, in between the cardinal numbers. So basically this pattern gives us one pattern, which is A plus classifier plus A. Here A is a cardinal number which is reduplicating after adding the classifier in between. The classifier is always twa. And the second pattern of creating distributive numeral is A plus classifier plus suffix. Instead of reduplicating the cardinal number, they are adding the suffix after the classifier here. So A is a classifier followed by A is a cardinal number followed by the CL, that is a classifier twa, and which is later followed by the suffix, which is khiti. Khiti means each. So we have this example here. The first example is Mizu twa Mizu. It means 4 each. Here they are just reduplicating the word. The second is Mizu twa Khiti. It also means the same, 4 each, but they are not reduplicating. They are just add on the suffix into this. They can use interchangeably. There is no fixed pattern for this. They have the choice whether whatever they want to use, they can use that. The last one is the restrictive numeral. In Lotha, the restrictive numerals are formed by suffixing shite to the cardinal number. The pattern for the restrictive numeral would be A plus suffix. So here A stands for the cardinal number and shite is the suffix which is used after the cardinal number, and which means only. So the example is only one. For only one, they are Matsunga shite. Only 2, Ini shite. Only 500, so Nazo Mongo shite. So like this, they can use the suffix for restrictive numerals. So here is the conclusion of my paper. This paper basically concluded that Lotha has the numeral system and the pattern would be noun always followed by the numeral value. If we add some adjective in between, then the pattern would be noun followed by the adjective, and then that is followed by the numeral value. And the Lotha has the basic decimal type numerals, and these are bifurcated into 7 types. First one is the cardinal, which is further divided into 2 parts, that is basic and the compound numerals. Basics have separate lexical items, and they are just 12 in number, 1 to 10 and 20 and 50. And the compound cardinals, basically they are using the compounding process and further divided into 3 parts: additive, multiplicative, and multiplicative come additive. Additive, in this they just add the 2 numbers together and form new number. A plus B gives us AB. The second is the multiplicative, in which they just multiplied the 2 numerals together and form a new number, which is later on the basis of the value of the numerals are divided into 3 parts: basic, decade, and 100,000 or lakh. For basic, they have the fixed pattern for A. The value of A is either 3, 4, 6, and the value for B is always 10, which is for that they use rho suffix. For the second type, that is decade, in this they have the fixed pattern A into B, in which the value of A is always 10, which is for that they use Ika word. And for B, they have 7, either 7, 8, or 9. But for the third one, A into B, in this the value of A is either 10, or 100, sorry, either 100, 1000 or lakh. The next is the multiplicative come adductive. In this, they first of all multiply two numbers together, and then the outcome is added to the third number. And it for just for the presentation, they have the two different types, whether they use the conjunction or not. For 27 numbers, that is from 31 to 39, 41 to 49, and 61 to 69, they do not use the conjunction, but the numbers which are equals to or greater than 71, they use the conjunction for them. But it is required that the numeral value must not be multiplied by or divided by the 10, 100 or 1000 or lakh. Second is the ordinal one. In this, they use the suffixing, that is O, A plus suffix. The third one is the fractional. In this, they have the fixed pattern, that is CL plus denominator followed by suffix. Again, the classifier plus numerator. Here, the classifier is always ichi, and suffix is always used as low, which means by. And the fourth one is the multiplicative. They have the fixed pattern, that is prefix plus B. So here the prefix is yanjo, which means time. The next is the approximatives. In this, the pattern is A is followed by the suffix. Suffix is harma, which means about. And the last, second last is the distributive one. In this, they can use either process. Either they can reduplicate the cardinal number after inserting a classifier in between them, or if they don't want to reduplicate, they just use the suffix instead of reduplicating the cardinal number again. The suffix would be khiti, which means each. And the last is, these are the restrictive numerals are formed by suffixing shite to the basic cardinal number, and shite means only. So thank you so much. This is the end of my presentation, and these are the references of my presentation. And I would like to thank my team, Mr. Thangchamo and Thangbemo. Basically, they helped me a lot for collecting data in the Wokha district. And thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Ria, for such a wonderful presentation. We have 5 minutes left for discussion. So now the floor is open for discussion. If any queries or any questions, please, you can put it up here. Within 5 minutes, we have to wind it up and go for the next presentation. So now the room is open for discussion. Any questions?
Madam Ria, I would like to come. First, I would like to comment that it was a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
I noticed that you have mentioned Nejo for 100 in cardinal number. And in the latter parts, in the multiplicative numerals, you said nanjo. The earlier one is nejo, and the later one is nanjo for 100. Is it because of
this one, sir?
Yes. Nanjo, yes. The earlier one, multiplicative, yes.
Multiplicative, this one?
Yes.
These are the examples.
Yes, example. 100 times. Yenjo,
yes.
Najwa, right?
Najwa, yes.
Najo. So the Najwa, and in the cardinal portion you said Nejo.
Yes. This one, right?
Yes, 106.
Yeah, actually, I got your point. Yeah, I got your point. This is basically stands for one here. So they have the alomos for one in low Motha, they have the allomorphs for one. They have the three allomorphs. One is second is Matsunga, and third is Ikha. So the context and the environment change with according to that they use this This is the basically you can say it's a morpheme. They can use it for one, but for in certain context. But later here I use it as I will show you one. I got your point. Here I write 100 times. That's why I use here. But when I say here, that is Najo. I just said 100. For 100, it's Najo. But for 100 is Najoa.
Okay.
Is this your question, sir?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. As we are running out of time, if any questions, please do address in the chat box so that we can give some time for the next presenter. Is there any other in the chat box?
Can I ask one quick question?
Okay, fine. Please
With regard to formation of 70, 80, and 90,
yes, sir.
I just saw that it is actually Ekha and 7, Ekha plus 7, or
Yes.
Ekha plus 8 to form 70, 80, and 90. But Ekha stands for 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So how does
Truly
that?
right. Actually, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Actually, I am also getting stuck in this because Ikai stands for 1 over here, and I am not able to like bifurcate that. So actually, I also need some further detailed analysis of these three decade multiplicative compound numerals. But I am still looking into it. I am not sure about it. Sorry. But I will
Okay,
definitely go and see in this. Thank you so much for the question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ria, once again. And
thank you, ma'am.
Now we can move on with the last paper presenter. The title is Morphophonemics in Cough Borok by L. Pratima Devi. Pratima, are you here? Yes, Pratima, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please get ready for the presentations. You can start your presentation.
Okay, madam. Am I audible? Hello?
You are audible, but we cannot see your slide.
Pratima, please share your screen. Yeah.
Is it visible? My screen?
Not yet. Not yet.
You have to click the green button at the bottom, share screen. There is a green button. In case you're unable to share, then you can share it to Bijan by mail. or send it to us in WhatsApp, we can share it for you. Okay, I think it's appearing. Yeah.
Is it visible?
Yes, yes, it's visible. Can you put it in slideshow mode?
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Good afternoon to everyone. Now, I am presenting a paper on morphophonemics in Kokborok. Here is a brief introduction to Kokborok language. Kokborok consists of two words. Kok means language or word, and Borok means person, which generally refers to the language of people. They call themselves as Tiprasa, and the language is known as Kokborok. Affinities. Kokborok has close affinities to Boro, Deuri, Garo, Dimasa, Rabha, Tiwa, Sonawal, Kachari, etc. Kokborok is spoken in India by more than 1 million speakers. Around 2 lakh speakers are also found in Bangladesh. Area, the Kokborok is mainly spoken in Tripura, some parts of Assam and Mizoram. It is also spoken in neighboring country Bangladesh. In Tripura, 8 districts: West Tripura, North Tripura, Dhalai, South Unupati, Sipaijala, Khwai, Gomoti. In Bangladesh, Khagrasari, Rangamati, Bandarban district, Sylhet division, and Rajbari area. 6 divisions: Dhaka, Rajdhani, Sylhet, Khulna, Barisal, and Chittagong. According to Day-1 2003, there are 8 distinct dialects, namely Bru, Day-Burma, Samatia, Koloi, Murasing, Rupini, Tripura, and Uchoi. Berling has classified Kokborok under Boro-Konyak Jingpo group of Tibeto-Burman languages. Grierson classified Kokborok under Bodo-Garo. Typological features, phonemic inventory. Kokborok has 26 phonemes. Out of these, 6 are vowels and 20 are consonants, and there are 3 diphthongs in Kokborok. Kokborok is mainly agglutinating language with more number of suffixes than prefixes. Nouns can take number, gender, and case suffixes. Verbs are marked for tense, modality, and aspect. Kokborok has a rich set of classifiers which are predominantly of monosyllabic, mostly ending in consonants. Classifiers are used for enumeration. Kokborok is a verb final language with dominant SOV word order. The morphophonemics. In linguistics, the term phonology refers to the study of sound systems used in language, while morphology refers to the study of morphemes or meaningful word units. Taken together, morphology is the study of how sounds change in words depending on how the words are composed. Jensen defines it as a general term referring to processes affecting the phonological shape of morphemes and sequences of morphemes. The type of processes involved ranges from purely phonetic rules to genuine sublative allomorphs with nothing phonological in common. According to Ramlan, morphophonemic refers to the changes of phoneme as a result from the merging of one morpheme and another. He also states that morphophonemic process is a process of form changes in which phoneme and morpheme are involved. Morphophonemics in Kokborok. Morphophonemic processes in Kokborok can be seen in affixation and compounding. Morphophonemic processes of Kokborok words include vowel harmony, alveolarization, insertion, deletion, monophthongization, and voicing, etc. Vowel harmony. Koborok exhibits progressive vowel harmony, whereby the vowels of prefixes harmonize with the vowel of the nominal or verbal roots in terms of tongue height or lip rounding as given below. Vowel harmony in pronominal prefixes. Second person, na, ni, no, and nu. Na, hamzug. Na is second person singular. Hamzug means daughter-in-law, your daughter-in-law. Ni, be second, your elder sister. Ni kissing, your friend. No toy, your small maternal auntie. Nu kumui, your brother-in-law. Third person. Similarly, the third person bo has 4 forms of pronominal prefixes ba, bi, bo, and bu as illustrated in the following examples. Ba hamzuk, his daughter-in-law. Bibi, his elder sister. Bo toy, his small maternal auntie. Bu kumui, your brother. It will be his brother-in-law. Vowel harmony in causative prefixes. Fa followed by a vowel. Log is be long, and then follow is lengthen. Nuk means see, funuk so. Ma followed by a vowel. Tu means sleep. Mutu means put to sleep. She means be wet. Mishi means make wet. Sa followed by a vowel. Kiri, be afraid. Sikiri, frightened. Peng, be straight. Sepeng, straighten. Kuluk, be drawn. Sukuluk, to make someone drawn. Komor, extinct. So komor, make extinct. Vowel harmony in adjective forming prefixes. Like many other Tibeto-Burman languages, the most of the adjectives in Kokborok is derived from the stative verb by adding adjectival prefix ka followed by a vowel to the verb root. The member of this type of adjective is more than 40. It is worth noting that the adjectival prefix ka followed by vowel harmonizes with the vowels of the verb roots as illustrated below. Ka, ham, adjectival prefix, be good, ka, good. Kebel, K is adjective prefix, and bel is be flexible, means flexible. Kisi, ki is prefix, then she is be wet, means wet. Kobor, ko is adjectival prefix, and bor is be met, means met. Kubuk, adjectival prefix ku, and book means be sharp, means sharp. Vowel harmony in possessive construction. The possessive or genitive marker triggers vowel harmony of the first person plural, second, and third person singular pronouns. In other words, the vowels of pronominal prefixes harmonize with the vowel of the genitive morpheme as illustrated below. Chini, kami, kotor. Third person genitive marker, then village, kotor means big. Our village is big. Nini, nog, boro. Where is your house? Bini, mokol, hamya. His eye is not good. Consonant deletion, ka, ra, and la in compounding. In Kokborok, the voiceless velar ka, plosive ka is being dropped word finally when it is followed by another morpheme begun with the velar plosive as illustrated. Ya, kep becomes yakep, means the. The noun stem with final ra and la drop their coda consonant word finally when the same noun combines with another noun stem begun with voiceless bilabial plosive and alveolar as illustrated. For pum, hopum, or ra will be deleted. Sal, pum, sapum, whole day. Sal tung, satum, sunshine. It is also worth mentioning that there is a tendency in the language that the liquid R in some of the adjectives is being dropped word finally, as illustrated in the following examples. Novar koto, rompe. Insertion of liquids R and La. As we have seen above that adjectives are derived from stative verbs, a liquid is inserted in the derived adjectives, whereas the absence of liquid is evident in the verb root, and in compound word formation, R is also inserted as given below. Peng, be stride, kepleng, stride. Pap, be salty, kuprap, salty. Harpek, ha, mad, kepek. Alveolarization. In Koborok, the velar nasal nga became alveolar na when it is followed by the alveolar sound the as shown below. It is worth mentioning that this type of alternation is found in case of compounding in the language. Chandu. West means west straight. Velarization of na. In Koborok, the alveolar nasal na became velar na when it is followed by the velar sound kha as shown below. It is worth mentioning that this type of alternation is found in case of compounding in the language pun ki, means God said. Regressive assimilation. This process involves the assimilation of a nasal to the place of articulation of the following stop at a morpheme boundary. Instead of assimilating the nasal feature to the following stop as illustrated, it occurs in serial verbs. Tam pai, cut down, to literally uproot a tree by cutting. Tam pig, to chop things. Tam hook, make hole by cutting. Glide formation. If the first morpheme ends in a vowel and the second starts with a vowel, then a glide word is inserted in between these two morphemes to break the vowel cluster as illustrated. Cameo, kami plus o becomes cameo in the village. Chu plus o becomes chuo, was, and tu plus anu, tuano, will sleep. Sele plus o, seleo, lazy. Voicing. There are few examples of voicing assimilation attested in the language. The voiceless stop pa and ka became voice when it is followed by the vowel initial morpheme. Here, the voiceless consonant assimilates the vowel which is voiced. In other words, the voiceless stop pa and ka became voice in intervocalic position, that is, in between two vowels as shown. Yak plus o, yago in hand. Cook plus o, kugo in the mouth. Monophthongization. If the first morpheme ends in a diphthong and the second ends with a semi-vowel, in this context, the diphthong became monophthong as illustrated in the following example. Muya. Muya, mu from muikari, and ya from wa from bamboo becomes bamboo shoot. Syllable reduction. A syllable is reduced in Kokborok when compounded. As seen a trisyllabic word is reduced to disyllabic thaktui. Tha plus kutui becomes thaktui. A plus kachak becomes akchak, rohu fish. Multiple processes. Dilation of liquid and vowel harmony. Sortung becomes sutung. Red-head lion. Dilation of liquid and de-aspiration. Hoki, hor, from hor and ki. Conclusion. Kokborok exhibits progressive vowel harmony, whereby the vowels of prefixes harmonize with the vowel of nominal or verbal roots in terms of tongue height or lip rounding. More specifically, the various processes of vowel harmony can be seen in pronominal prefixes, positive prefixes, possessive construction, and adjective formation. Consonant deletion such as ka, la, and ra are found in the process of compounding. If the first morpheme ends in a vowel and the second starts with a vowel, then a glide word is inserted in between the morphemes to break the vowel cluster. Similarly, if the first morpheme ends in a diphthong and the second ends with a semi-vowel, in this context, the diphthong became monophthong. The velar nasal nga became alveolar na when it is followed by the alveolar sound da. The voiceless stops pa and ka became voice when it is followed by the vowel initial morpheme. In other words, the voiceless stops pa and ka became voice in intervocalic position. Thank you, ma'am. This is the end of my paper.
Okay, thank you so much. Now we can take one or two questions. So the room is open for discussion.
Okay, Bobita, can I come in?
Yeah, please do so.
Okay, the paper was very interesting. It highlights some of the phonological processes that are at work in this language, and I'm so happy that the presenter has explicitly presented her paper. I have only one problem. The rest are all fine and well presented. That monophthong.
Yes,
the monophthongization. I don't see a diphthong becoming a monophthong. So that part in your presentation, if you can show me your, or you can note it, even if you don't want to show me, you can note it. Check. I don't see a diphthong becoming monophthong from the example because it involves two syllables. There's rather a glide ya is inserted. So, yeah, that's it.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Any other queries? So, as there is no question in the chat box, personally, if anyone interested, you can unmute and ask a question, if any. Okay, I think as there is no queries from the participant, I think the second session of first day comes to an end. I would like to hand it over for the next announcement to Dr. Monali Longwailai. Thank you, Pratima, once again, and thank you to all the participants.
Thank you, ma'am.
Over to you, Monali. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Bobita, for chairing the session on morphology so wonderfully. And we have seen so many wonderful presentations by the presenters. I was very much fascinated by all of their contributions for this conference. And thank you once again to all the presenters for your hard work and effort for this presentation, for this session. And thank you to all the participants also for listening to the session with so much patience. I'd like to make an announcement that the next session will start at 3:30 p.m. and it will be chaired by Professor Priyanku Sharma for Phonology-II. And we will have firstly the invited talk by Professor George Van Riem. And then we will be following up with the paper presenters quickly after his talk. So that is the update for now, and see you at 3:30. But for those paper presenters who are there for this next session, I'd like you to join a bit earlier, say 10 to 15 minutes early, so that we can also do your PPT technical checks and all. Thank you once again. See you in an hour. Bye.
All right. See you.
Bye.